This is TradeFlow News, bringing you relevant news and insights from around the world. TradeFlow News, enabling trade for SMEs and economies worldwide.
These are some of the key topics that we will be looking into in today's program.
First, let's take a look at the overnight headlines which are impacting the commodity markets.
Russian companies decreased oil exports by 2.2% year-over-year to 295.12 million metric tons in 2024. Kommersant Daily reported on Monday, citing a source familiar with the oil industry data. Shipments via the Druzhba pipeline to Slovakia and the Czech Republic, as well as from the ports of Novorossiysk and Ust-Luga, decreased, the newspaper said. But shipments increased via the Druzhba pipeline to Hungary and from the port of Kozmino, according to Kommersant.
Oil prices slipped on Monday after US President Trump called on OPEC to reduce prices following the announcement of wide-ranging measures to boost US oil and gas output in his first week in office. Brent crude futures dropped 53 cents, or 0.68%, to $77.97 a barrel by 0430 GMT after settling up 21 cents on Friday. US West Texas Intermediate crude was at $74.16 a barrel, down 50 cents, or 0.67%. Trump on Friday reiterated his call for the Organization of the Petroleum Exporting Countries to cut oil prices to hurt oil-rich Russia's finances and help bring an end to the war in Ukraine.
Moving on to the top news in the energy sector.
Mongolia expects to sign green hydrogen and renewable energy agreements with Saudi Arabia worth several $billion over the next few months and is in talks with the United Arab Emirates for similar investments, the country's deputy prime minister told Reuters. Rich in deposits of copper and coking coal, Mongolia is positioning itself as an emerging provider of critical minerals in an attempt to attract foreign investors and advance renewable energy development. It has announced 14 mega-infrastructure, energy and connectivity projects that would require investments worth $15-30 billion.
Japan's top LNG buyer, JERA, plans to increase its purchases of liquefied natural gas from the United States to diversify its supply and meet demand growth spurred by data centers and AI, a senior executive told Reuters. U.S. President Donald Trump pledged to unleash the U.S. energy industry to boost output and threatened the EU with tariffs if the bloc did not buy more gas, meaning JERA might have to compete with other buyers for more U.S. gas. Handling between 30 to 35 million metric tons of LNG annually, Japan's largest utility currently sources nearly half of this from the Asia-Pacific region, including Australia, Malaysia and Indonesia. Next, we have the top news in metal market. London copper eased on Monday, as the US dollar firmed after President Donald Trump threatened to impose tariffs on Colombia, while the focus was also on the Federal Reserve's policy meeting for cues on the interest rate trajectory. 3-month copper on the London Metal Exchange fell 0.3% to $9,246 a metric ton by 0330 GMT, after scaling its highest since November 12 on Friday. The most active copper contract on the SHFE steadied at 75,500 yuan, $10,396.87 a ton. The dollar index was up 0.2%, making greenback-priced commodities more expensive for holders of other currencies.
Dalian iron ore futures prices climbed on Monday and were on track for monthly gains, aided by resilient demand in top consumer China, while recent comments from US President Donald Trump eased concerns over an intensification of US-China trade tensions. The most traded May iron ore contract on China's Dalian Commodity Exchange traded 1% higher at 810 yuan, $111.51, a metric ton, as of 0301 GMT. The contract has gained 4.44% so far this month. China's financial markets will be closed on January 28 until February 4 for a public holiday. Trading will resume February 5, Wednesday.
We will now look at the top news in the agricultural sector.
Chicago soybeans slid for a second straight session on Monday to their lowest in almost 1 week, as Argentina's decision to lower grain export taxes raised expectations of higher supplies from the South American country. Wheat fell more than 1%, although the decline was limited by cold weather causing damage to the U.S. winter crop, while corn slid for a second straight session. The market is expecting higher exports from Argentina, which is bearish for prices, said one Southeast Asia-based trader. Prices had earlier rallied on worries over adverse weather. The market is now giving up some of those gains.
That is all for today's news on commodity markets. Stay tuned to TradeFlow News as we continue to provide you with more updates. We also invite you to follow us on Twitter at TradeFlow News, which allows you to watch our program on your mobile device or desktop to receive information from there.